Programs of its type. It's been on the air since 1967 and brought to you by Apex Bank of Camden. 3 locations in Camden, Big Sandy and Brewston. Today's program after this.
For more than 85 years, Apex Bank of Camden has built a tradition of local people serving local people. Although there have been changes over the years, this one thing remains the same. Hometown people that are your friends serving you every day to meet your financial needs. We want to see you grow and prosper. And when you ever have a need, you'll get personal attention right here at home, not in some far-off corporate office. Number 1 in customer service. Apex Bank of Camden, Benton County's best bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
A very pleasant good Saturday morning to you, everybody. Welcome to Operation 7570 on this Saturday. Great to have you with us today, the last Saturday of April 2022. A couple of fine guests live in our studios today. We're in a separate room. We're in the WRJB side today because of the renovations going on the opposite room. A little bit crowded, but that's all right. We're going to have a great show today. But before we introduce our guest, let me tell you what's going on out at Camden Central High School from now until 10 a.m. this morning. Pancake breakfast sponsored by the Lions Club. I was out there just a little bit ago, and I'm going to get into this, provided that Luke doesn't skip the bargain auction for this. But pancakes with sausage, syrup, all sorts of things, $5 for all you can eat. So, if you want a good meal today, go on out to the Lions Club Pancake Breakfast out at Camden Central High School cafeteria. Drive behind the school, of course, and they'll be glad to accommodate you. All you can eat for only $5. We're bringing that back after, I think, a 3-year absence because of the pandemic, and we appreciate all the fine folks at the Camden Lions Club for what they do throughout the community. And speaking of people who do great things in our community, we're going to be focusing this morning on the Big Sandy Spring Festival. We're bringing it back after a 3-year absence. Well, actually, we had the car show last year. We have Steven French to talk about that, how that's grown in recent years, especially since last year. Autumn Ratliff from the Big Sandy Chamber, she's with us as well today. Boys and girls, welcome. I appreciate y'all coming to live. Steve, you and Autumn, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
It is so great. It's great. It's going to be like old times, having the festival back. We've looked forward to it.
Yes.
Autumn, go ahead.
Yeah, we're really excited to bring it back. I guess it's been a hard time for everybody the last couple of years making big decisions like this on whether to have it or not. We just did what we thought was best, and we knew eventually that we'd come back stronger than ever, and so this is the time to shine.
And Steve, you were able last year, 2 years ago, didn't have anything, but you were able to go ahead with the car show. But you're looking to expand that this year, I think.
Yes. Yeah, we actually wound up with 220 cars last year. The only thing that could have been better was if it would have been about 10 degrees warmer, because last year was, I think, the coldest car show we've ever had in 26 years down there. I think it was like 59 degrees or something like that. People were coming down for a summer car show and getting jackets and stuff and blankets and sitting there.
We've had Autumn in our studios before many times, and we've talked to you down at Big Sandy, but in case we have any newcomers listening to us on the broadcast today or, watching us live on Facebook this morning, Steve, let's start with you. What about some background information about yourself and the things you've been involved with beyond Big Sandy car shows during festival weekend?
I run sound. I'm a sound engineer, so I do live sound reinforcement for bands. So we have had, in the past, we ran sound for T. Graham Brown at the Spring Festival several years ago. I've set up sound and run sound on Friday nights for several of the music acts that the festival's had, aside from the car show.
The way you provide sound, and we talk about technology that's changed up here at the radio station through the years, the technology you use, the equipment, has it changed down through the years in running good sound?
Yeah, it's changed a lot. When I first started, you had to actually twist knobs on the console and move faders, and now with the technology, I can just walk around the venue with an iPad and control the entire sound console from the iPad.
Every venue is different. I've seen you down at Eva Beach down there in the fall time of the year when Nathan Bedford Forest has their weekend activities. That sound, you've got to get it just right. The sound with the venue down there, it's going to be different than at Big Sandy, isn't it? It's going to every venue's different.
Yeah, all of the surroundings change the acoustics of the music. I've run sound inside the National Guard Armory here at Camden before. It is horrible because of tin roof and concrete walls and floor. Outdoors, you really have nothing to, if you're just open air outdoor concert, you have nothing to really bounce the sound off of. The only thing you have to have there is enough power, wattage to get it out to everybody.
Well, we'll get back to you in just a moment or so, but Autumn, Steve, and all the fine folks down there, just one of the many aspects, one of the many fine individuals that does a great job with this festival each year.
Yes, we love the car show. It does always, every time I'm up there, it always sounds so good. I don't know who your announcer.
Bobby Coffey from Memphis, Tennessee.
I mean, it's like every time I hear his voice, I'm like, oh, the car show. Like his voice is just embedded into my brain that's the sound from the Spring Festival. So we're excited to be back, and I'm glad they had it last year, and I'm hoping that they have more, that fills the whole downtown, the side streets, which I think they will. I mean, it's calling for hopefully good weather in the almanac, so
yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed. It's about a month out, and lots can happen. April showers bring May flowers, but I hope we don't have the showers like we've had in April then.
And then that one year that it came, the downpour at the last act, we didn't even get to have the fireworks. It was awful. It was, I mean, there was flags going everywhere. The carnival guys were soaked. All the people were like just drenched, and it was just awful. So we're hoping for good weather.
Autumn, what is the Spring Festival all about? Can you give us a little bit of a history and how you become involved with it?
Well, it's a national event in my mind. If you're from Big Sandy, it's always been there. It's just a time where people that have moved off, they come back home. I remember it when I was a young girl, taking part in the parade, either being in the parade or, sitting on the sidelines catching candy. It's just something, I talked to my classroom kids, and I told them the other day that we were bringing the Spring Festival back, and they were ecstatic. I mean, I thought some of them were going to cry. They were so happy because there's not a lot of things that go on downtown Big Sandy, and this is the one event that it's like Christmas morning to them. It's family members coming back and having a reunion, seeing old friends you graduated high school with. It's just a time for us to be together as one, putting everything aside and all coming back to the town that we all love so much. I got involved with the chamber when I was like 16 years old. I'm not really sure why.
That was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think I just like kind of showed up at a meeting and just kind of started helping when I what I could do. I was young, so I didn't get a lot of responsibilities, and so it's just I've been around and done some stuff, and now it's like a 4-person team. We have Marilyn Solberg that works at Tactical Response. She's in charge of the parade and the bingo, and then we have Emily Dykes, who is the treasurer, and then the president, Tim Pfeiffer. Hi, Tim, because I know you're watching. He does everything, makes all the phone calls, sets everything up, so he really takes the big plate of it. I just get to do all the public appearances like this.
Yeah. We appreciate that. And these are things, the activities, and we'll go over the schedule of events as the program goes on this morning and who's going to be there and what times, things like that. But scheduling acts, scheduling bands, and public appearances by different celebrities or individuals, these take time. You just can't do it 2 or 3 weeks in advance.
Now, when we come up with like a schedule the day after the last Spring Festival, because we kind of we'll say, okay, well, this went really well or this didn't, blah blah blah. Well, us being gone for so long because of the pandemic, it's kind of put a little rain on our parade. Like we were talking about before the show started, is you can't book these people the week before. They have to know, 6 months to 12 months in advance. And so we run into people that only play Saturday or only play Friday due to, they might have a member in their band that works a job, or they might have other family events that's going on. And so it does really take a lot of time to say, hey, we need somebody. Can't really give you the exact time right now, but it's going to be this Saturday in the evening. And, we have to let them know ahead of time. If we like the acts that we have this year, we'll probably say, hey, keep this date clear next year. It's just like the carnival people. Since we couldn't have a Spring Festival for a while, we had to really make sure that they had time in their schedule to put us back in there, with the pandemic that canceled everything. So it does take a lot of time and planning and thinking ahead, thinking outside the box for the future spring festivals.
And of course, you mentioned the carnivals. Their scheduling depends on quite a bit of factors as well. And I've talked with the Benton County Fair Association people about carnivals down there, and there's not that many traveling carnivals like there once was.
No, it is a dying act, and we work really well with the Popes from, I think, Greenfield. I think that's where they're out of, and they're amazing. They come in and they transform it down there. They bring their own workers, and everybody is very polite and well mannered, and they make sure that the kids are know the safety rules when they get on a ride, and they're very professional. And so I can say that I jump on those rides when I can.
Autumn, where does funding come from for events of the Big Sandy Spring Festival?
The biggest chunk comes from the TRRD board, the board that's located here. They meet, once a month, and they sponsor events like the Fiddlers Jamboree that just occurred, and then of course our Spring Festival. They see the importance of having festivals and bringing in tourism into our small community, and if it wasn't for them, it wouldn't be possible, because rides and fireworks and entertainment, all of that stuff adds up very quickly. And when we have Easter breakfast, we like to say that money turns around and goes to the Spring Festival. Well, every time we have an Easter breakfast, we always end up in the hole. But it's for the community. That's why we do it. It's for the kids. So if it wasn't for the TRRD board, I'm not sure what would happen.
They do great, and you mentioned tourism, and it brings in tourists. I mean, not just the folks in the Big Sandy, Camden area, but it brings in people who come back, and tourism, and that is so important to here on Kentucky Lake Tennessee River.
Yeah, and like his car show, we know that brings people from everywhere. And so, a lot of the times when we have to present to the TRRD board, Tim will ask, where some of these people come from, or we'll walk around and take pictures of, license plates. So they're from Iowa or Indiana, that's bringing 3 people from Indiana into our little bitty small town. So, they're going to have to sleep somewhere, or unless they're driving back, or they're going to buy food from somewhere, or they're going to buy drinks from somewhere. So it all kind of makes a full circle that, it brings people in, and it helps us out, and it helps the community out.
Now, Steve, how long have you been involved with the car show aspect of the festival?
We've been doing the car show for this will be our 26th year.
Okay.
Minus the year we were out for COVID.
Gotcha. Understand that. And that's just really grown in the past 2 decades as well, like we've already alluded to, into several different categories. So why don't you just go over right now, if you will, for our radio and Facebook audience, just some of the categories and what we can expect at the car show.
Okay, well, we've got categories for production cars, which would be anything that's doesn't have a specialized category on there, and stock and modified in those. We've got Chevrolet specific classes for 55 through 57, Camaros, Corvette classes, Firebird, Nova, Ford, Mustang, Mopar, and then we've got a late model muscle car class that is mostly Challengers, Chargers, Camaros, and Mustangs from 2005 and up, because the manufacturer started making a new muscle car class with these new cars. And Flash, you can actually go to a dealership now and purchase a car with 800 horsepower right off the showroom floor and not have to make any modifications to it.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
So that's what that class is for. Then we've got several street rod classes. We have motorcycles, truck classes. We've got a class for just about anything that's got wheels on it. And in the past, we've had just about anything that has wheels on it.
Categories, and you've touched on it a little bit, Stephen, but the categories, classifications change as we go along, and new makes and models come out, or what you're wanting to present. Does that change, or has it evolved down through the years?
Yeah, it has. We started out with about 27, 28 classes, and now we're all the way up to 58 classes currently. That's been the last several years. We've stuck at that and not added any new ones, because I've tried to cover everything, but there's always somebody that shows up that you just have trouble trying to find a place to put their vehicle. But as new makes and models come out, we update the years every year of the what's included, We try to make it where, because I've been showing cars since 1985, and we try to make it where old cars cannot be categorized with a brand new car that somebody just went out and bought. So that's the way we've got our classes arranged. We try to ensure that doesn't happen, because that's really not fair. It's made me ill in the past years when I would work all this time on my car, and then somebody with a brand new car they just bought that's still got a drive-out tag on it wins.
Now, one of the aspects of the car show, and I've been down there and seen this in action, and really much more than what you would realize, but judges, and you have professional judges to come in and do this, and the
Yes.
things they're looking for. I mean, I had no idea all the things they were looking for. They have these mirrors, they can look under the car, and check out for things underneath. So how does the judging work in these categories?
All right, it's based on a 100-point system. You've got 5 categories: exterior, interior, engine compartment, trunk, and undercarriage. In the last few years, we've been kind of lack on undercarriage, because people that drive their cars, they're not going to put it up on a lift and get Q-tips out and clean everything on the bottom of the car. So we don't really look at that a whole lot unless it's a concourse type car that's going for the top best of show, and we might have to get down and look at that closer to differentiate it between one of the others that's in the same category or vying for the same option. We're looking for things like cleanliness, number one, neatness, innovation. Like if you built something and put on there yourself and you didn't just buy it out of a catalog, or the way you've got it designed under the hood. If you've got it there and it's got 50 different colors of stuff under the hood, that doesn't really blend and flow well together. So that's probably not going to be appealing to the judges when they come around. Looking for scratches on the paint, blemishes on headlight covers, panel alignment, things like that. And then my judges are all from something dealing with the automotive industry in the past. I know David Pascal's one of our judges. He used to work for Ford and worked for General Motors as well. So these guys are really meticulous on what they pick out.
Yeah, and I think he's taken vehicles in the past. He's taken vehicles to shows in out of town, of course, and he's been on some what I call road runs. 4 or 5 day road runs, and different organizations and associations out there do that.
Yeah, he's got that Buick Regal, and he competes in Hot Rod Magazine's Drag Week every year. And actually, he and I are both entered. We both was able to get registered in this year for September, so we'll both be going on that this year.
And a lot of the vehicles down there, most of the vehicles, as you go, they'll have placards on the inside: look but don't touch.
Yeah. At the Paris show one year, I had my drag truck over there, and of course it was a step side, and I had just gotten it painted a couple months before the show, and this father and his son, and the kid didn't mean bad, but the father's looking over in the bed and he goes, "Wow, son, look at this." Well, the kid gets on the running board, steps up on the running board, and I'm like, ah! I mean, you don't want to knock a kid off of your vehicle, but man, I was close.
Yeah, but just a hand on the side of a vehicle or something. I mean, that can just make an imprint unbelievable, just a half second or so.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that the pollen, the dust in the air, it leaves grit on a paint job, and you can take, paint scratches very easy. You can take your hand and just touch or run across a 2-inch wide area, and with that grit on there and pollen, you've just left a scratch on that car.
And right now, my car is good indicative of that. Outside, pollen is definitely in the air right now, Steve.
Yeah, my truck's supposed to be white, but it looks neon green right now.
Oh, for sure. Well, we know you promote the show through ways like Facebook. You have the nice flyer, the nice poster. Yeah, show that. Don't know, Autumn, how good that'll see, but we'll get that out on Facebook. I'm sure it's already out there. But how do you promote the car show in other ways besides just social media now?
Traveling to the way that's always been and still continues to be, traveling to cruise-ins, traveling to other car shows in other counties, and passing out the flyers, leaving them in people's cars that are at the show. that's been a way that we've done it before social media. It's a way we still keep doing it. I was at the cruise in Camden last Saturday, and the show over at Paris last Saturday passed flyers out, and there was 6 or 7 other people that were passing flyers out as well for other events.
Yeah, and I know sometimes the Big Sandy Spring Festival Week, it's coincided with the car show up here on the Court Square, and a lot of times, cars down there, after the judging, they may leave to come up and participate here on the Court Square.
Just about all of them
Yes.
will.
Yeah.
But I know last week they ran out of room parking on the Court Square. I think they do every time that they have that. But that's one of my biggest, I guess, only complaints about the car show down there is that it takes so long to get everything judged because so many cars show up. The people want to get out of there in time to get to Camden to the cruise in.
Sure. Autumn, do you have a favorite type of old car that we might see down there?
Well, I am
Ford?
not a
Chevrolet
car
girl, or-
person. I have a Kia, and it's notoriously known as being messy and dirty constantly. I've always had a messy car. So when he was talking about this, I was like, well, I could not enter my Kia because it would not win. I just enjoy, when I have time, I try to make a little time to actually get down there and see instead of, always down there working. But, I think that we were talking about the motorcycle a while ago, the Native American motorcycle. I think it's even on our flyer this year. Tim put it in the picture in the corner. It's just they're colorful. They're they're very attention grabbing. These people spend a lot of money fixing these up, and so it's just like anything, you like to show it off. And so I encourage people that might have one in Benton County that's never entered to enter, because you don't know, you might win something. I mean, I'm looking here. You got Best of Show, Big Sandy Merchants Appreciation, People's Choice. I mean, he has it. I mean, you could win cash prizes just for door prizes. I mean, it's laid out. You could win something. But I think it's kind of funny because we're down there early trying to get the parade set up, and then here they all come, and it's like where they're going straight downtown, or some of them will even put them in the parade, but it's just line after line after line after line of these old cars, so it's kind of cool to see.
And Stephen, of course, you have some great sponsors down there, some nice giveaways throughout the course of the day. There's some nice things that will be given away as door prizes throughout the course of the day, let alone the main prize.
Right. Yeah. O'Reilly's is one of our main sponsors. O'Reilly's here in Camden. And the Best Western Home Place Inn, of course, is our host hotel, Mr. Thompson over there. He does that every year for us. Gives anybody that stays at the hotel for the car show 10% off their stay.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic.
J.A. Cal gets all of the merchants around Big Sandy money together for them. That puts the Big Sandy Merchants Appreciation Award together, which is a 44-inch tall trophy and $500.
Wow.
And that is drawn from, actually last year it was $700. We had 2 additional drawings. But that is drawn from the tickets that the car show entrants get. So those tickets are all put back into the tumbler, and then at the very last thing, somebody, if you're still there, you have attendance is mandatory on that. So somebody, and you don't have to have the nicest vehicle there. You can have just anything there. If your number's drawn, you get that trophy and that money.
Well, it's just great to walk around the gazebo and see all the trophies, throughout the course of the day before the awards presentation is made. Just seeing all those trophies, and boy, those trophies are very nice.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, we try to. They're pretty much the same every year. The red, white, and blue theme with the stars for Memorial Day, and I had to change my COVID. Did away with my first trophy. I was getting them made in Murray, Kentucky, but that guy had to close due to COVID. So, fortunately, I was able to find a lady in McKenzie Trophies, that took over. It's not. I don't know if you guys have tried to find trophy shops anywhere. They're not easy to find anymore. She's about the only one around here, unless you try to order them offline. And for trophies, as many as what this car show is, because there's 3 trophies per class, 58 classes, then 6 specialty trophies. So, that's 175, 180 trophies, and some of them 44 inches tall. That would be a shipping nightmare.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, we're about midway through our program. Time is really getting away from us. What we need to do right now is take a break for a fine sponsor we have on the program, and they're a big booster of things in Big Sandy, especially the Spring Festival. Our friends at Apex Bank. We'll be back with the second portion of Operation 7570. Stay with us.
Apex Bank of Camden, proudly serving the Benton County community since 1931. In recent years, through growth and expansion, we've taken that same local community spirit into other markets. Today, with over 20,000 customers across Tennessee, our business philosophy remains the same. Local people making local decisions, serving our friends and customers, and investing in the communities that we serve. Here for you yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Apex Bank of Camden, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Back on Operation 7570 this morning, talking with Autumn Ratliff and Steven French about aspects of the Big Sandy Spring Festival coming up Memorial Day weekend. We're about a month out, but that will be here before you know it. I appreciate the conversation we've had, and I appreciate the work that these fine people do with the Spring Festival, as well as all your committee and all the volunteers and the different aspects. And Autumn, let me ask you this. Do we have a theme for this year's Spring Festival?
Yes, we were talking about this theme before the pandemic hit, so that was going to be the theme for that year, and then of course everything happened. But it's all roads lead to Big Sandy, and so kind of like a honor of the people that come home on this weekend, because like I said earlier, there's several people that come back from where they live now to come back to visit with family and friends. And so we kind of went with this whole all the roads lead to this event, or all the roads lead to Big Sandy. All the
little logos that have come out to that aspect, they have little signs, with some of the streets and roads into the Big Sandy area, and very fitting and becoming, I think.
Yeah, Tim went through and, we picked the biggest roads, the longest roads, the most popular roads, and it's kind of like the old beach signs, like that has the arrow pointing this way and the arrow pointing this way. So, Point Mason, Sulphur Creek, all of that, and so it's kind of cute and very dedicated to our town.
That's right. Can you get there from here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Schedule of events. Everybody wants to know the schedule of events, and we start out with great events on Friday, continuing into Saturday. So give me some things that will be taking place all weekend long.
So Friday, we always have our carnival, and carnivals can be very expensive for families, and especially families that have multiple kids. So Friday and Saturday both, all day long, you can ride for $10. You can go home, you can come back. But you're going to have a different color bracelet on Friday than you have one on Saturday. But a lot of the kids will get one, and Saturday they'll ride all day long and then go home and take a nap or take a shower, and then they'll come back and ride all night. And so, it's not to charge an arm and a leg, but $10, and that covers you. So that goes on from 5 to 9:30 on Friday. And then at 6, weather permitting, because, we won't talk about weather, but from 6 to 8, we're bringing back the hot air balloon. That was a big, huge success when we did that. A lot of people didn't get to ride it, so that, we're like, well, we'll bring it back, and that's going to cost, $20, because it's very expensive to get a hot air balloon to come to Big Sandy. But that was really cool. If you haven't done it, I'd say do it, just so you can check it off your bucket list. We had this person a couple years ago, and it was fun and very neat. And then wrap up that night at 6:30, we have Kinsey Rose. She was on the NBC The Voice. We actually have had her for several years before she got super, super famous, so it's kind of cool that she was on The Voice this year. She's going to be there from 6:30 till 9. And that's Friday. We talk about Saturday?
Yes, go right ahead, please.
Okay, Saturday, of course, we have the car show starting at 8. The award ceremony starts at 3, so you get to view that all day long. At 10, we have our parade, and of course it goes with the theme, all roads lead to Big Sandy. If you've been in the parade, you line up at the school. Little League teams usually line up at the Church of Christ beside the school. We just ask people to really get involved and decorate their floats. It is a political year, so that does help. because we have everybody, and even if they win, they should still put a float in. It's just good to see people. At 10:30, we have Kinsey Rose again. Again, it was difficult to find people to be able to play, and so we got her back. And then at 10:30 also we have Tim found this person, and we're really excited about this. It's face painting and balloon art. So they do these awesome face painting skills and the balloon art, and of course that's free to all the kids. We don't want to charge for that. It's just going to be free. We have pony rides. That starts at 10:30, lasts pretty much all day. Again, that's free. Our carnival on Saturday doesn't open till 10:30. It closes at 10 p.m. So that's what I was saying. You can buy a band and literally ride all day long. We have our meet and greet starting at 10:30 with the Turtle Man. Yee, yee, yee.
You did that well.
So I've been asking the younger generation, like my classroom students, and they're like, I don't know who the Turtle Man is. I said, well, ask your parents, they'll know. So if you don't know, his real name is Ernie Brown Jr. And he was on, I think he made some YouTube videos, and then he kind of branched over to a TV series on Animal Planet, and he's just, how would you describe him?
The only way to describe Turtle Man is that he's undescribable.
Yeah, and he like noodles for catfish and takes care of these big old loggerhead turtles and does all this stuff. Well, obviously, he loves meet and greets, and he seems like a really good guy, and we were talking about that before. I think he's really going to fit in, but we have a meet and greet with him, and you can get autographs and take your pictures with him. Tim's been dealing with him and his wife. We were just talking about that. He had a severe accident not too long ago. A tree fell on him, or a limb, and we were kind of worried. I was like, oh man, I hope he's okay. But he's back in live action. That's a saying.
If you don't know him, find him on YouTube. Just put in the word Turtle Man on YouTube and you can find him.
And he'll pop up. Then we have, of course, every year our horseshoe tournament and our bingo. And then that goes on in the small pavilion, if you know. And then we have other musical folk music talent. That starts at 2. And then we're going to end the day with Risky Business, which I love Risky Business. And then we have the fireworks. We send out mailers, and then if you are in the surrounding areas in Benton County and other places, we send out a mailer that you'll get, and it has the schedule of events. But if you want to see this, we do have a Facebook page, Big Sandy Community Chamber. It's on there, and you can put it on your phone and look at it like I have to do.
Well, very nice. I still use paper. I got that schedule on a piece of paper. I'm from old school then. But we talked on the first part of the program about the tourist dollars that this event brings in each and every year on Memorial Day weekend. And I think, 3, maybe 4 years ago, the Spring Festival won the Tourism Award from the Benton County Chamber of Commerce.
It was several years back. We won the whatever you said, and that was a huge honor. It's tough in being a small committee. You put all this time into it and all this work into it, and then you see the smiling faces of kids, and you see the reunions of people that they're having, and so it makes it all worthwhile. Of course, I've learned in the last couple of years with other jobs I decided to do that you're not going to please everybody, and so but it is what it is. It's something for our community. It's something to do. And that's what everybody asks down there. We're always looking for something to do. Something to do for the kids. Something to do. Well, here's your chance. One whole weekend you get something to do. And we have something for everybody. Like I said earlier, I'm not a big car person, but there's 1,000 people out there that are car people. And so that's something for them. I'm a ride junkie. I like to ride rides. There's my thing. And some people, older people, like to listen to music. We have that. And so we just try to do something for everybody.
And, of course, it's fun for the entire family of all ages, and it's been going on well over 40 years, I think, right now at that part of Benton County, the Big Sandy area. But having it on Memorial Day, we could have it any other time of the year, but having it on Memorial Day weekend each and every year, folks, that is very, very special, and there's more of a significant meaning to why this event is done.
And we make sure that that leads our parade, the flags, the presenting of the colors, and every year we stop the parade for a second and we put up a new flag, or we put a wreath at the flagpole, just to pay honor and our respect to what that weekend actually means. It is not just for the Big Sandy Spring Festival. It's other more important items that we have to think about and talk about. And it's a very special time.
Yeah, and Stephen, that's a very important holiday on the calendar each and every year as we pay tribute to those who have given the ultimate sacrifice so we can have events like the Spring Festival.
Right. A few years ago, of course, this is extremely hard to coordinate, and weather plays the biggest part in this, but a few years ago, Mr. Berry brought his squadron, I guess you would call it, of vintage World War II fighter planes, and they did a missing man formation flyover right at the presentation of raising the flag when the parade stopped, and that was something else to see. And of course, at the car show, we have a lot of veterans there, and they were all and this one gentleman who was I think he was a Vietnam veteran, he actually just about broke down and cried. That, of course, like I said, I wish we could have that every year, but that's extremely difficult to coordinate.
Yeah, absolutely. And, weather plays a big role, the things you're talking about, Stephen, and also, Autumn, that might play a role, as it did 3 years ago, is getting the things just right for the balloon.
Yes, and it took a while for us to figure out how to set up the balloon. The balloon guy, we let him know. We sent him the map. We have this big field. It's open. There's no power poles. There's not. And then once he got there, he was like, "Yeah, I need 3 people's trucks to hold this down." So now we know what to expect, and now we know, okay, we're going to need some vehicles to tether it down to, et cetera, et cetera. And so we're ready now. And we did have a huge line for the hot air balloon, and I'm hoping that we have a huge line this year. Take your family. It's something I can say I've done. I've ridden in a hot air balloon. It's kind of special. But weather plays a big role in these outdoor festivals.
Would you like, now that you've had that experience, and I experienced it 2-3 years ago, would you like now just to take a hot air balloon ride over the countryside?
Oh, I'd love that. I was like, bring it up more. But we got some good aerial shots of the carnival and stuff, so it was fun.
Stephen, as a veteran of the car show at Big Sandy, why do you do it year in and year out? You have a lot of help, but why do you keep on doing it?
It's my love of cars. I grew up working on cars and tractors with my dad, and my first car, a 67 Camaro that I still have, it's never at the show because it's not fixed right now. But my first car show I participated in was in 1985. When I was 16, 17 years old, and I've been participating in them every year since. It's just solely to promote my love of classic cars.
Yeah, and every time you participate in a show, or every year you do the Big Sandy Spring Festival Car Show, you learn something new. As long as you've been doing it, you learn something new and different that will help you on down the road.
Yes. Because everyone out there that brings a vehicle, these are artists. They don't paint on canvas, but they take the car, truck, or motorcycle, and they create with it. So every year something shows up that's different, that hasn't been there before, or I look at it and say, hey, that's a really good idea. I wished I'd have thought of that.
What has been, of course, different classifications and categories, understand that, but what has been maybe the oldest model of any type of a vehicle that you've had to show at Big Sandy? Do you recall?
I believe it is a 1921 model, I'll probably get this wrong, Model T sedan or Model A sedan. That was completely unrestored. It belongs to Mr. Copeland over in Paris. It's not been painted, and he actually drove it to the show. It's not been painted. It's not had anything done to it that we could tell. It's not flashy like a new car sitting in a showroom. It's rusty, dull looking, but
it's cool.
It is what it is. It's almost 100 years old, and it is exactly the way Ford built it.
Wow. Well, I went over to eat fish at the fish tent yesterday, at the fish fry yesterday afternoon, and they have on display, and you've probably seen it, I think is the first fire truck in Paris, as a matter of fact, that
Right.
they found a couple of years back, restored it, and boy, that is vintage. That is vintage.
Yeah, I saw that Thursday night while we were setting up for the show over there. Yeah, and whoever restored it done a meticulous job on that. Man, it is really something.
It was in the parade yesterday. Didn't get a chance to go to the parade, but hey, if you get a chance to view that this afternoon on the fairgrounds over there, by all means, look at that as well. Autumn, why do you continue doing things with the Spring Festival, you and your fine staff?
Because it's something to do, and it's something that I want, my students to experience. And, like we've talked today, it's just the having people come back and having the kids just light up when they get to ride carnival rides. Sometimes they don't get to do stuff like that, and they don't get to see the cool cars or the hot air balloon or listen to live music and be kids, and so that's why I continue to do it. It's just something for the kids, way heavy on my heart, being an educator. And sometimes I ask myself, why do we keep doing this day in and day out? But it's worth it. It's worth it in the long run. It brings people together. It makes our town, have something to look forward to. And it's just kind of fun.
Speaking of being an educator, has it been a good year for you and your students and all the Big Sandy School this year?
It is. I can't say it's back to normal, but it's getting closer. I'm hoping next year it goes back to being a normal, stress-free, the normal stress, of course, but the COVID stress-free, but there's still things that are going to come up. We had several kids out not too long ago with the flu, and it's getting there. It's getting there closely. It's a small school. We have a lot of kids, though. That's what people think, that it's just a small school with 12 kids in one class. No, I have a class of 30 or 29 students in one class, and that's fifth grade. And so the numbers at Big Sandy School are back, and they're on the rise. We're bringing in 16, 17 kindergartners every year, and so it's kind of exciting. People are starting to realize, okay, maybe small schools are not awful, and so, it's back.
And I think there was a donkey basketball game down there last weekend. I guess you were there. I meant to come, had other things to come up, but I think
Yes.
Proceeds from that went to the Beta Club. Is that right?
Yes, they had a great turnout. We had a silent auction, or not a silent auction. We had an auction in the middle of the intermission that lasted kind of long, but it raised over $4,000. All of the proceeds for that goes to the Beta Club. And some people might know this, some people might not. Our Beta Club really produces the winners. When they go to our state level, I'd say we bring home lots of trophies, 5 to 10 trophies per category. We have to then turn around and send these kids that won to nationals. And of course that costs a lot of money, hotel, travel expenses, room and board, and all of this stuff. And so, we always do the fundraisers to help out the Beta Club, and they made some money last week. I was there announcing. They asked me to ride a donkey. I said absolutely not.
Oh, surely not. Okay. You could have had a wireless mic and
No.
ride the donkey around the gymnasium. That would have been great.
I've done it
Hey, that's a
twice.
really good
Steve can
idea,
provide-
Flash.
Hey, Steve, you can provide, next time we do that, you can provide the fine sound with the wireless mic.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do that. Let's
Well-
work
Really
on
good
that.
idea.
Oh, yeah.
Now, once you get older, you start realizing you're not young anymore, and that's where I'm at.
Well, I appreciate both of you being in our studios today. It's been a fun show, and we'll be talking about this more and more over the next few weeks. Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, I got one more thing
Sure.
I forgot to. I'm excited this year that we are bringing ice cream back to the car show.
Oh, is he doing it?
A few years ago, we had a gentleman had a trailer, had shaved ice cream and all that, and he sold the trailer, unfortunately. But there is the guy that runs the barbecue pit in the middle of the car show.
Oh.
He is bringing a Amish gentleman that has a 2-cylinder hit and miss John Deere tractor. Then the tractor actually turns the ice cream churn.
We've
So
had him at a
that's-
street dance before, and
Yeah.
it was really. They had I think it was like maple ice cream, natural maple flavored ice cream, and it was very good.
So that's going to be a good addition, and if his schedule permits, which I think right now it's going to, a friend of mine, Tony Watson from Dresden, Tennessee, he's a NHRA professional drag racer, and he has a 1957 Chevrolet NHRA Pro modified car. It's 4,600 horsepower, and he has said as long as his schedule permits, he will be there. So that'll be a good addition.
And the ice cream reminds me, that's great. That's well and good. It reminds me, whether you're at the car show aspect of it in the downtown area, there'll be all sorts of good concessions down there as well, and also good concessions down at the city park activities.
Yep.
So yeah, don't worry about lunch or supper that time. You'll be well.
Corn dogs, funnel
right.
cakes, the typical festival food. So they have all kinds. If you're craving something, they'll have it. Deep fried Oreos are my go-to, but I'm gonna try to say no this year.
And a final word on where we can find out more information about the car show, perhaps the other events up on social media or wherever.
Well, we have the Big Sandy Community Chamber. That's where we'll post everything. Facebook, we knock it a lot because it's annoying, but it's also free advertisement, and you do get a lot of views and a lot of shares with stuff like that. And I'm kind of grateful for it. So we don't have to pay for it; it's just there. But the Big Sandy Community Chamber, that's where you can find all of our stuff.
Stephen, same page or a different page for the car show aspects?
I've got my Facebook page, Big Sandy Spring Festival Car Show, and my website, of course, right at this moment, it's down, hasn't been updated, but srfproductions.com. So it's got information and driving directions for anybody coming from out of town.
And it does, of course, I've been on both those sites very well organized, and in case people don't want to come to the car show, if they need a good sound man, you're always open for dates.
Exactly. It's kind of hard to do it on the same day as the car show or same weekend, but we have done it. But yeah, exactly. Give us a call or hit us up, and Jeff Gregory and I will be right out there to do sound reinforcement, and I think we can handle about 3,000 to 4,000 people is what we can cover.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you giving up some of your Saturday morning. We'll be touching base between now and the Spring Festival weekend date, Memorial Day weekend, just about a month away. And, hey, thank you for coming in. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, Flash.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our program on Operation 7570. Thanks to Autumn and Stephen for both being with us today. Remember, between now and 10 o'clock, you can still go out and get those great pancakes and sausage patties out at the Lions Club Pancake Breakfast taking place at Camden Central High School in the cafeteria. Drive around back of the gymnasium, and you'll be right there between now and 10 o'clock. Keep those fine folks in mind. A great rest of the day to you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next Saturday morning.
For more than 85 years, Apex